Hello, Doreen Corby here. Today we're going to be talking about uncovering your nervous system patterns, understanding your nervous system patterns, and we are just going to connect your mind and your body. And this is like nervous system 101 work here, and it is so important to get to know your own body and your own patterns. And so most of us are really walking around life with our brains running the show. Okay, so if you are familiar with mindset work, which many of my clients are, we know how to manage our minds. We know how to force ourselves to feel certain things. That's how we're able to, as women, to become thought leaders and grow big businesses. We know how to believe in ourselves, and we know that our thoughts can create feelings in our bodies. So a lot of people are living head up. Okay, so we're really just focused on what's going on in here. The hamster wheel is going. There's lots of anxious thinking. There's but we're not actually dropping into our body. And so what happens is we end up being disconnected. That mind-body connection that theory has been around for a very long time. I don't know how long, but we end up letting our minds run the show. And I am all about mindset work, and I will teach you a lot about how to use mindset, when to use mindset. But what happens when we only use mindset and we just let whatever thought is popping on our brain just kind of take over, is that we are disconnected from our bodies and how we actually feel. When you're building a business, when you're building your dream life, when you want to have this exceptional experience as a human, we need to bring our bodies along for the ride. And so what we do with nervous system work is really reconnect the mind and the body. And so what we're going to talk about today is understanding how you feel. Okay, there's a difference between how you think you feel and thinking about feelings and actually feeling them. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. There's a difference between thinking about how we feel and thinking about feelings in general and then actually feeling them. So today I'm going to walk you through how to actually drop into your body, actually figure out what it feels like to be in your body. And then I want you to carry this knowledge with you so that you can uncover your own nervous system patterns. In the psychology world, we would call it, when you were triggered, or when something upsets you, or when something makes you feel what we call in the nervous system world activated. You want to start to track those so that you can uncover your own nervous system patterns. So the first thing we're going to do, that we will always do, is we are going to orient. And if you have watched the 5 series video, one of those videos is on orienting, and it is one of the most impactful ways to help drop in to your body and settle your brain from being completely in charge. All right. And just before we orient, one of the things I want you to know about letting your brain be in charge is we are mammals. We have our survival brain. And when our nervous systems are activated, when we are in that sympathetic, our survival brain, if you haven't watched the survival the survival masterclass, I want you to watch that. When we are in that, we are using this base of our brain, this survival brain of ours, this reptile brain. It's archaic, okay? And so we actually don't have access to our higher functioning brain. We're the only mammals in the world that have a higher functioning brain. This is the part of the brain that allows us to plan, to make, to to meet our goals, to the, you know, anything that the day before, if it's setting what you eat, to what you're going to do, to what your schedule's going to do, and then all you need to do is execute. We're the only mammals in the world that have access to this higher functioning brain. And so it's so important to drop into the body, because this is, especially when we orient, it's how we remove ourselves out of that reptile brain and allow us to come back into the body. And the beautiful thing about being in the body is the quickest way to hear your own intuition, the quickest way to see like the I don't want us. That's what I call the I don't want us, like the things that you don't want to do, the things that you do want to actually do. It's the quickest way to make decisions, is to actually tap into in the body what you do and don't want to do based on your own intuition and just your own desires for that season of life. And so if we're only using our brains, and we're not actually dropping in, that we're making decisions without being able to tap into what is really best for us, for our families, whatever the decision may be for you. And we're missing an opportunity. So we could make a decision by kind of, I call it, you know, chin up. We can make a chin up decision and then run with it, and may not actually be in alignment with what we truly want. So I could talk to you all day about why dropping into the body is so important. And the nervous system, when I talk dropping into the body, I'm talking drop into your nervous system, understand what those patterns are for you. So let's orient, and we'll do that together so that I can lead you into how to track your system for the next week, a few weeks, months, years, however long you want to do this. Okay, so we're going to start on one side of the room, and you're just really slowly going to scan. I'm going to do it for you. Really slowly going to simply look around the room. And if you see something that is pleasurable or catches your eye, you just linger there. And when you feel like moving on, you really slow this down, and you are taking in your surroundings. I'm doing this with you so that you can see the pace at which I am doing this. And you'll see that I am looking all over the room. I am looking up. I'm noticing as much as there is to notice. And I'm not forcing myself to look at any one thing. I'm not letting my mind be in control here. I am simply being and looking at my surroundings. And I teach you why and all of the goodness about orienting in that orienting video, if you want to learn more about why this is so effective. You may notice yourself taking a deep breath. I just noticed myself breathing a little deeper. That is your sympathetic nervous system coming down. That is you getting back into your life, out of your head, into your life, and into your body. And take your time, but when you're finished, I just want you to see how you feel. Maybe you want to shake it out a little bit. Just want you to notice how you feel. And we're going to drop in. And I want you to feel, if you can feel any sensation in the body, at all, and where you feel that. So for me, because I'm teaching, I am absolutely in my sympathetic nervous system, but I'm not in like an overdrive state, but I'm teaching, right? I can feel here what that feels like. So I just want you to feel whatever sensation you have in your body. And I just want you to notice the intensity of that, what that feels like for you, and maybe what you're thinking about. And once you kind of, again, you've likely already watched the video on containment and how to track your system. Once you take inventory of how you're currently feeling, I want you to think about if you were to come on and get coached today, what you would want coaching on. What issue or problem do you need support with? And I want you to think about that. I want you to take a minute. I want you to think about preparing what you would say as I would bring you on to get coached. And giving that feeling, again, using the brain to access that feeling. But now that we're in the body, we're going to practice what it is that you are going to track so that you can uncover what's going on in your own nervous system. So think of that problem. Maybe it's financial. Maybe it's how to manage it all. Maybe it's how to grow. Maybe you are unhappy with your current growth. Maybe it's a relationship that you're having a hard time with. And then I want you, now that you've thought about that for a few minutes, I want you to drop in and I want you to tell me what sensation in the body is present thinking about that issue or problem. And if you were here live with me, what I do in the Healing Circle is I just ask you to show me with your hands where it is that you feel that sensation. It can be anywhere in the body. It can be in the head, it can be in the jaw, it can be in the hips. I've worked hands-on with women where it's been in their back. It can be anywhere. I just want you to feel what it feels like to work with this problem. Okay, so we have defined where it is, and I'm curious what the intensity of it is. On a scale of 1 to 10, just name the intensity. And then as you're feeling that, really try to name the sensations. Sometimes it feels like it's got energy to it. Sometimes it feels hard and solid. It can be a square, it can be a circle, you know, just really try to put language to it. And I want you to notice the difference between how you felt after we oriented and we were just kind of being together, and how you feel thinking about this issue or this thing that you would want coaching on. So I want you to notice now the difference in sensation, in location, and I want you to see that that is your nervous system. And I just wanted to give you an example of what it feels like to have two different sensations within the nervous system. Okay. And what I want you to do for this week is simply orient and drop in. Orienting helps you drop into the body. And if you orient and you are unable to really kind of get in touch with what's going on in the body, maybe you say, I don't feel anything. Sometimes we feel the lack of something. I don't have any anxiety, I don't have any anxiousness. And so feeling the lack of that is noticeable for my system. All right. And so what you want to do is to uncover and understand your own system. First, we want to see how your system operates. What does it feel like to be in your body? And as you practice this more and more, you will get to know when that system is in the sympathetic state and the parasympathetic. You will get to know where your system is. And this happy medium is like, you're in the sympathetic, but you're not in the push, the hustle, the sympathetic overdrive, right? Like you're out of bed, you're working, you're functioning, you're taking care of your family, but you're not feeling the, which tends to be, my clients are not in the parasympathetic very much. My clients are overachievers, they're entrepreneurs, they're just badasses. And they have such big missions that they tend towards hustle, right? It's how they've accomplished most things in their life. And so unwinding that hustle and getting to know what that feels like means that we have to first track the system and figure out what that feels like. So if you know that you are going to be in a situation where it is going to be a stressful meeting or a board meeting or whatever, or the opening of your business or the 10-year anniversary of your business, whatever, and you know you're going to be in a space where there's a lot on you, that's a great time to drop in. See how that feels. Can't work with a nervous system until we understand and uncover how our nervous system is working. And your nervous system is always working for you. Always, your body is always your ally. It is always trying to protect you and help you thrive in your environment. And when I work one-on-one with clients, which is like the really like deep, nourishing work that we get to do, is like how we really get to rewire this nervous system so that we can just not be anxious anymore. Like I used to have so much anxiety, gone. But it took work to understand my nervous system, my patterns. So once you understand your patterns, then you can start to use the nervous system tools that I taught in the 5 days to use those to interrupt that pattern. In mindset, we call it pattern interrupt, right? If we want to interrupt a pattern of thinking, first we need to catch it, and then we need to interrupt it. And what that literally does is stop the cycle in the neural pathways. There are grooves to our thinking. And so if we can stop that cycle and replace that thought with a thought that we choose, what we call an intentional thought, then we're pattern interrupting that thought. And in neuroscience, this is absolutely the way that rewiring a negative pessimist brain into an optimistic brain, this is how it works. The problem is that we need to do the same with the nervous system, especially if we have something to heal. Right now, I'm just talking about healing just your nervous system in general, based on how we're raised, society, being an overachiever, being driven, and being all of the things that are beautiful and amazing about you, that can also lead to you being really exhausted and overworked and not being in touch with like what you need, what is going to be good for you, for your family, for your life. Okay, so this is your work, is to track your system. If you know when, and I would just use the nervous system tracker so you know when you're tracking. and make sure that you are getting in touch with what is going on in your body. And then once we find those patterns, you can come get coaching around them. And I can help you work with your unique system. You know, there are no two nervous systems that are the same, just like there's no two brains that are the same, no two humans that are the same. Your nervous system starts mimicking your mother's nervous system, you know, right at birth and onward. And so we've got your whole lifetime of your nervous system first mimicking your mother's, and then we pile on life experiences, traumatic events, all throughout your life that lead you to right here. And the body and the nervous system is always so smart, always changing and making sure that you are able to maintain connection with the caregiver, you know, until you're an adult, and so on and so forth. And so it's so intricate. There's so much to say about this. But I want to just let you know that this is the work.